Okay, we're live.
Welcome everyone to Conscious Living with Sara, hosted by the Early Birds Teens Club. The EBC Teens is a youth organization aiming to create a global community of powerful citizens and compassionate leaders. Composed of young adults between 13 and 23, this platform drives the youth to consciously work towards creating one world, one family. Our club seeks to instill meaningful values in every team, such that they have the skills and self-confidence to build their own success.
It is for this reason that our club encourages the youth to arise early in the morning. Once awake, we follow a simple yet significant morning routine, inclusive of calming yoga, reassuring affirmations, and motivational quotes to kickstart our day. The mind is the most impressionable during these early hours, and our routine sets the tone for a positive and purposeful day.
Our founder, Mohanji, is a world-renowned humanitarian who is dedicated towards serving the world. He walks the path of ahimsa, or nonviolence, in thought, word, and action. He is driven by the conviction that we should all leave the earth a better place after having lived on it. Mohanji has created a number of platforms, one of which being the EBC, to aid others in adding value to society through consistent acts of kindness and compassion. To do that, we must become the best versions of ourselves.
Okay. Today, we are absolutely delighted to have Sara with us. Sara is a powerful young girl from Johannesburg, South Africa. She is a ray of sunshine who inspires us to always find the strength to overcome obstacles in life. Though restricted to a wheelchair, she devotes her time to serving others unconditionally. Through her optimism and compassion, she feeds hungry children along with her mother in her community. As she says, we must be ever thankful for what we have. Let us all aspire to spread unconditional love wherever we go, just like Sara. So, with that, I would like to ask Sara a first question. How did you get into social work, and was there a particular experience that prompted your decisions to serve others?
I got into social work 5 years ago when I saw that many people don't even have nothing to eat often. And my mom started going to soup kitchens with Egg Foundation South Africa. I decided to join her. So that's when I saw what we truly have, we must be thankful for. And those children that we were feeding at that time and still today, they're truly grateful for one meal that they have every day for that one meal. And it's very important to realize of what we have, we must always be grateful for what we have, despite of what we want.
Thank you, Sara. That's really amazing. Can you please describe the social work that you're doing?
The social work that I'm doing is I go to a place here in Johannesburg. It's near to where I live. It's a township. Children walk to this specific place every weekend. on foot, whether if it's raining or whether it's sunny, they always walk to that place because they don't have stable food at home every day. And some of them cannot even afford to go to school, and some of them don't even have their parents living with them. So it's really it's really amazing to see how these children are dedicated just to go and get one cooked meal every weekend. And it's really amazing to see how they fight for one meal every weekend. It shows us how we must be thankful for what we have in life.
Uh, Sarah, how did you meet and how did you connect with Mohanji?
I connected with Mohanji through one Shaktipat that was given to one of Mohanji's followers, gave that Shaktipat to me 5 years ago. Since then, I've been in communion with Mohanji telepathically non-stop. And this connection is truly very strong and nothing can define it.
So, how deep is your connection? How does Mohanji communicate with you?
He communicates with me telepathically. I hear his voice exactly how I would hear it if he was standing here with with his body. It's it's literally the same thing. To me, whether he is here in his physical form, it doesn't matter. It matters that I hear his voice. And it's truly infinite, this connection. It cannot be measured. That's how strong it is.
So, how do you know that the connection is real and not your imagination? Like, what are your experiences?
I know the connection is real because when I connect to him, I don't I'm not using my mind. I'm not using my thoughts when I connect to him. I'm just in the moment. Whatever I need to do, whether is it to help a person or whether is it to help myself, I just flow with what's happening in that moment.
So, Sara, you guide people based on Mohanji's instructions. Were they real in life? Were they accurate?
Yes, most of the times these these guidances that I get from him, they're accurate. On it depends what the person is going through. Few few weeks ago, I was guided by Mondi to help one lady that I know. She was going through a very difficult time in her life. And usually I speak to the person once or twice and then my job is done. But in this particular case, I needed to speak to her for full 2 weeks for her to realize what was being said. And sometimes this has to happen like this because the the people are so much stuck in their mind and thoughts what they're going through now right now in that particular moment that they don't even realize what is being said. And sometimes the problem is so serious, they're just focusing on what they're feeling, not what is being said. So you need to repeat the same things a couple of times for them to really process what is being said.
So, if I may ask, who is Mohanji based on all your experiences which you have had till date?
Mohanji is a is an elevated soul who is sent on this earth to help beings find their true self. And Mohanji cannot be defined with normal words.
So, when you do all your social work, what inspires you and motivates you to continue serving every day?
When I see how effective this work is, that's what inspires me. And when I see that people take the advice that's being said, it just motivates me to carry on. And when I see how good it is for the world to give yourself to the world, you must give yourself out, because what is the use of just sitting in one place and feeling sorry for yourself?
So, Sara, how can we as children and teenagers start to lead a more conscious life?
Just do any selfless service you have around you. Selfless service is the main key of becoming a better human being. Through any kind of selfless service, whether it's helping a person or whether it's helping an animal, just do any kind of selfless service and you will transform while doing this selfless work. And you will see that this life is not all about only yourself, what you have and what you don't have. This life is more than that.
So, if I may ask, what changes did you see in yourself once you became more involved in social work and spirituality?
Before I became spiritual, I was having anxiety attacks and getting angry often. But then when I met Morangi, all that changed because I saw I have a purpose in this life and I have to fulfill it somehow. That made me feel better about myself and that made me push and move forward.
How about social work?
Social work is very important to me in a way because that's the way I can see that what I have to be thankful for and not to want more all the time.
So, what is your message to the global community, and can you describe what you think is an ideal world?
My message to the global community would be see yourself as powerful human beings who are unique in each and every way, who have talents, whether it is outside of you or inside of you. Each one of you have your own talents.
Is there anything else you would like to share with us
I
as
think
EBC
she
teens?
can share a few stories of her charity work, or how people feel, and how she's touched many people's lives. Though she's on a wheelchair, she's doing much more work than any of us sitting at home. So I think it's very commendable. So Sarah, do you want to share a few experiences and stories?
Yes, I just want to add to what I was saying before. I'm not perfect. I also have a mind and I also have my emotions and fears, but I don't define myself with that anymore. One experience that I had that I can remember very well is when I help people and when I see that they take my advice seriously, it really motivates me to carry on and move forward, and it really empowers me to do more in the world. Whether it is through selfless service or whether it is through challenging Mondi, it doesn't matter. It just matters for me to carry on saving the world in whatever way I can. Example, I even help people that I don't really know personally, and they always say to me that this answer that you're giving to me is so accurate to what I'm going through right now. How did you know that I needed this answer? Then I reply to them, oh, it's not me, it's the master's work that is being done.
How about your charity work? Like, what are some experiences with the children that you've had?
Each child has its own potential, no matter does it have food or not, does it go to school or not. Each child has its own unique talent and potential. We mustn't define ourselves with what we have, because that is not the way how to live life. We must define ourselves with what we can do to serve the world, not what we have and don't have. And each child expresses love through gratitude and thankfulness for every meal they get.
Okay, so Sara, so we have many Mohanji followers in the EBC teens as well as the adults group, and all of them want to be in constant, touch with him. So, what do you advise them? How can you always contemplate on your master or your guru all the time? Whatever action you're doing, whatever service you're doing, whatever work you're doing, how do you offer it to him?
The The master is always with you wherever you go or wherever you are. The advice that I would give to the people is they must connect to the master deeply, morning and night. That that will intensify the connection with the master. And of course, doing more selfless service, serving the world will of course intensify the connection to the master.
So, Sarah, you're a young teen, and obviously you too, go through a lot of emotional turmoil and lot of, mixed emotions. You may feel angry, you may feel sad, you may feel jealous, or anything. How do you handle all these emotions, and how does Mohanji help you, calm yourself? And you say you're, always in communion with him. How does he help you with your emotions? And what do you interact with him when you're angry or sad? How do you go about it?
So the example I can give, I just sit in front of his photo. Let's say I want to cry, I just sit and cry in front of his photo. Then he would ask me, what's the matter? How can I help you here? Then I would tell him what's the matter. Then he just gives me the answer of what I must do to overcome it. Then he just removes it from my mind. Whatever is making me sad or cross, he just removes it like that, because he doesn't think that I must waste my time in these emotions.
So, Sarah, you said that you were able to overcome your fears through spirituality and social work. Can you describe how you did that?
It took a couple of months to realize what actually is fear. I still have fears, but they are much less than they were before. And I know how to overcome them with the help of the master, of course. Most of the time when I feel scared, I just go and discuss it with Moandi, and he helps me with the fear. He guides me of what to do with the fear. And then I feel better after that issue is discussed, or after the fear is discussed. I just move on with what I was doing after the issue or the fear or the particular emotions were discussed. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but it gets resolved with time.
So, would you like to connect to the story of when you were really scared and how Mohanji has helped you out? It would be quite interesting to hear from you.
So, when experience that I can remember when I was really scared is one day. It's now 2 years since this happened. One day, I had flu and I was very scared. So I told my assistant to make me a medication that she's never made before. and I didn't realize I was taking the wrong medication. After a few hours, I started feeling so unwell, started vomiting and having an upset stomach at the same time. At that moment, I was really scared, but I knew Moji would help me through this. And I even had to go to emergency for them to help me. But after few hours of what was going on with me, after a few hours, I came out of the emergency like nothing was ever happening. That was really a scary experience, but I learned from it. I learned to always move on, no matter how scary the experience is. You must just move on.
Sara, when you say move on, do you mean accept it or do you mean forget it? Can you explain that, please?
I mean, accept the situation because everything happens for a reason in life.
Okay. So when you first met Mohanji, did you instantly connect to him or was it a process? How did that work?
It took time because when I first connected to him, it took time because when I first met him, it wasn't in a physical form, it was through a telepathic communication. So I needed time to process all that was said. It took maybe a month to process all that. After I processed all that, I just said to myself, let me go ahead and let me try to connect to this, to Mondi. And then it worked. It worked. I was connecting to him constantly, talking to him constantly with determination that what I was asking for, I really needed. So I wasn't asking for something that I made up.
So you said that your first experience of speaking to Mohanji was in the telepathic form. So could you elaborate a bit more on what you saw the day and what did you speak with him? What was your overall experience with him?
So on that day, one of Monji's followers put his hand on my forehead to give me Shaktipat. And while the Shaktipat was happening, I heard a voice. The voice said, "You are Sara, Milita's daughter. You cannot walk." And I said to the voice internally, "Yes." Then I asked the voice internally, "Who are you?" And the voice said, "I am Mondi." And then I just started asking the voice random questions. One of those questions was, when this hand comes off my head, will I still be able to connect with you and communicate with you? He said, yes. Go to the photo in your room that was blessed by me. Use it to communicate with me. So after the Shaktipat was finished, I needed a few days to contemplate on what just happened that particular day. Then I went through my room and tried to ask the photo questions, and it really worked. I was really getting accurate answers.
Okay, Sarah, so this is my last question, and then we'll wrap up the interview. So nowadays we see a lot of teens face a lot of problem with distractions, and they can't focus on their goal. They don't identify their goal at all, and they are very they're less inclined towards spirituality and charity. How do you suggest the teens and the youth of this world to cultivate a sense, an inclination towards spirituality, compassion, how to cultivate compassion, and how to get involved in charity work?
To get involved in charity work, the simple way is to just feed the homeless people on the streets, because whatever food the homeless get, they're grateful for it. And also, another simple way of charity work that I can describe is feeding animals who are in shelters, and adopting animals who are in shelters and giving them a home.
Thank you so much, Sara, for showing us how we can all lead more conscious lives. With the insight you have provided, we can all see that it starts with a single step which can transform our lives and the lives of those around us. I would also like to thank the audience for lending us their time to further understand their potential to serve others in the world.
Our Early Birds Teens Club seeks to empower the youth through building meaningful relationships steeped in values and ethics. Everyone is welcome. To connect with us, please visit our website at earlybirds.org or email us at teens@earlybirdsclub.org. You can also hop onto our Instagram at earlybirdsclub.teens or our Facebook at earlybirdsteens. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Sarah.